too cold for you here now, so let me hold both your hands.
Guys, if you like the content and you want to show me some support, Neverhome is my brand. It's my brainchild, my baby I've had for 8 years. I am the most passionate person about making clothes for us to wear in the gym. If you get a chance, check out www.neverhome.com and show some love and support. This is one of my new tops coming out. That's Ronnie Coleman, designed as a monster on an oversized t-shirt. We've got our short shorts, we've got our caps, but the range is always expanding. And I want to say thanks if you've already made your purchase. Thank you very much. I love to see you support my brand.
All right, we're back again for another podcast. Scott SLAMAN, the mechanic, say hi. Johnny Starr here. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll get straight into the questions. But firstly, Scotty, happy birthday. I'm taking you out for lunch after this. We're celebrating with a steak. So you've turned 37?
36.
36 years old, guys. So just
50.
He's 50.
Yeah.
So Mike O'Hearn, eat your heart out. That's what I tell him all the time. All right, let's get into the questions, okay? So we had a lot of questions that came in, and it's you guys that are sending them in that is giving us a reason to make this content. So we're really grateful for everyone. Number one, I broke my hand and I can't train. Should I keep cutting or start eating more again?
So you tell me you broke your hand and you can't train at all. Johnny, what do you think I would do if I broke my hand? Do you think I'd train?
You would train.
Most definitely. So it sounds like a bit of an excuse.
Yeah, you can train with a broken hand.
100%.
Yeah.
You can train around it. So
Around it,
you have to
exactly.
get a little bit of inventive. You can smash your legs, no question. You're going to have to use your good hand to load the plates and maybe get a training partner. But as far as your other arm, you can use ankle straps around your wrist. You can use figure 8 straps and hold on to a bar and pull where you're not even using your hand at all. So you can really work around these kind of injuries, keep training, keep making progress. And as far as cutting, absolutely keep going. In fact, I'd probably recommend a cut when you're a little bit injured and you can't, maybe push the weight to your full capacity.
Yeah.
So keep going, keep dieting, get as lean as you possibly can, and keep as much muscle as you can. No issue.
So touching that, I don't know if you can see that scar there. I broke my hand.
Yeah.
I punched a door and the door broke my hand. So I had that bone broke in half. And I had a titanium plate put in, but I still trained around it. Pain in the ass, but I figured it out. And I was probably in my maybe about 20 then or so. But I still trained. You just, where there's a will, there's a way. So keep training. All right, number 2. How to cut fat without losing muscle. A little bit of trend.
Yep. No. Okay. Start over. Start over.
Okay, how to cut fat without losing muscle.
All right, so I'm going to assume this is somebody natural, okay? Because if you're taking any kind of PEDs, even a small amount, you're going to hold on to every bit of muscle you have. Don't even worry about it. But if you're natural and you're trying to get lean, holding on to muscle, it's a bit more tricky, so you got to be a little bit smarter about it. So you slowly, gradually decrease calories. Don't do massive drops. Keeping the protein high, I'd have to see what a person's doing exactly to make a judgment on what they need to do. But I would say just a slight deficit over a longer period of time than doing really, really dramatic cuts.
Yep. I remember when I did my first cut again after a while when I got a bit chubby, I cut way too hard. And I was natural then as well. Yeah. And man, I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, you don't have to lose, if you're not, you're probably going to use a little bit of muscle, but it doesn't have to be much at all.
100% agree.
And the other thing is, this is the biggest factor I didn't mention, keep training heavy. What put muscle on in the first place? And that's training hard, training with a decent amount of weight. So keep that up. Don't be doing I better do high rep stuff and supersets and giant sets and all that kind of stuff to keep muscle on. No, the stimulus that got you muscle in the first place, try to hold on to that, try to keep your strength. Yeah. You might take a little bit of strength loss, but try your best to keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Good one. All right, next question. What's your thoughts on IGF-1?
Okay, IGF-1, I see that trending a lot lately. Now, the premise behind IGF-1, we think about growth hormone, right? Growth hormone stimulates release of IGF-1 in the liver, and that's to be probably the most effective at putting on muscle tissue. Now, taking IGF-1 directly, they think, okay, this is going to work even better. However, most of what I see out there in the market, I haven't seen anyone get any decent results out of it, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
So if you look at somebody trying to sell, to talk about how great IGF-1 is, chances are they're probably trying to sell it, kind of like SARMs.
Yeah.
There is an IGF-1 that we've seen in the past, Increlex. This is very hard to come by, very expensive, and very unstable, but that has been seen to be quite effective.
Beautiful. How would you approach a rebound from a cutting phase?
Okay. So if you've been in a deficit, you've been trying to get leaner, and then you're going, okay, we're going to go into a growth phase now. I wouldn't automatically go from a big deficit right to your higher calories, because what's going to happen after being in a deficit for a while, everything's going to start to slow down a little bit. Your thyroid production is going to decrease a bit. So that's going to slow down. So I wouldn't just even go to your maintenance calories straight away. I would very slowly reverse, test the waters, and then slowly bring it up from there. And when we're gaining weight, very small amounts. You know, initially when you start putting a little bit more food in, you might gain 2-3 kilos, bang, straight away, and then just let it creep up very slowly. And be very careful with the off-plan meals. Oh, I'm growing now, I can have this and have that. You're gonna get put fat on very too quickly.
Yeah. No, that's very important. I see too many people blow out rapidly after shows or cutting phases, or it's just summertime, really, right? Okay, so this person said this: I'm in a growth phase. If the scale weight doesn't increase much, but you're visibly growing, do you up the calories?
Well, if you are visibly growing and your scale weight is increasing, even not much, that's a great sign. You don't necessarily need to eat more.
Yeah.
And look at this. If you're also getting, the person didn't answer this, but if they're getting stronger, chances are they're putting on more muscle tissue. So if your strength is going up, you're visibly looking larger, and your weight is very slowly climbing, you're probably putting on some decent amount of muscle. So you know, and if you want to slowly increase calories from there, be cautious, but you can do so.
Is that how much would you recommend? It depends on the person.
As far as gaining per week, I think I covered this recently, but I would say probably 0.25 to 0.5% of body weight per week as far as growing. Because we've got to think about, if you put on, let's say, you know, you put on 100 grams of muscle tissue in a week. You know, like, think about, you know, think about an eye fillet steak, like a 300-gram eye fillet steak, right? Think about putting that on in a month. Like that's 300 grams in a month. That's a decent amount of muscle tissue, right? Now we're going to gain probably a little bit more weight than that, but what else are you gaining? So you're probably gaining more fat. You're going to gain some glycogen. You're going to have some total food volume. That's going to account for scale weight. But people trying to push the weight up super quickly, you got to think what percentage of that is actually muscle, and pull it back, because you know you're gonna do so much better growing in a little bit leaner standpoint from being able to utilize your carbs better and
be more insulin sensitive.
100%.
Well. Okay, here's one. Test and Masteron for cutting. What are your thoughts?
Well, it doesn't really matter. So there's not really cutting and growing compounds. There's not, you know, people think, oh, this drug's gonna make me super ripped, right? It's not. All anabolics increase protein synthesis at a very similar rate. So that's what they're there to do. And they do a great job of holding on to muscle tissue when you're in a deficit. So what compounds you use is gonna be trying to figure out how you're gonna have the least amount of risk as far as your side effects are concerned.
Okay. Good answer. What's your thoughts on finasteride? Is it worth it? For those people who don't know what finasteride is, that's for hair loss, right?
Yeah. It's a DHT blocker. And in my opinion, you know, from seeing the side effects that people get on it, you know, depression, anxiety, the biggest thing is sexual dysfunction. And in my opinion, it's probably not worth it. You know, I would look at every other avenue probably before I go that route. And I'm assuming somebody's probably taking anabolics and trying to counteract the hair loss with finasteride. You're not going to get as much muscle growth when you're taking finasteride as well, blocking that DHT. So You know, I don't think it's, you know, it just kind of comes with the territory.
Maybe go to Turkey.
And if you look at
transplant.
look up PFS, it's post-finasteride syndrome, right? And even after people stop finasteride, they can have symptoms and issues that keep going for many years to come. So I would definitely think twice before going down that route. And look, some people can be fine on it. So this isn't an everyone situation. It depends on the person.
Micro dosing versus doing it in one shot.
Okay, so I'm assuming they're talking about
Test
probably. So if you're taking a big bolus dose of test, for example, right, taking it all at once, your body's going to react to that. We're going to potentially look at more aromatization, so more conversion to estrogen, things like that. So microdosing, on the other hand, would be very small amounts, a lot more frequently. So you're going to have less fluctuations in hormonal levels, much more stable levels, so less potential aromatization, less conversion to DHT, things like that too as well. So I would probably opt for the smaller, more frequent doses. I know, for example, even in the U.S. in some TRT clinics, they're actually recommending daily subcutaneous injections, and subcutaneous has been shown to keep levels very, very stable. It's a little bit slower in and out of your system, but
there you go. So you might want to backload an insulin needle and just do it that way.
Correct.
It's a much smaller needle. Will training to failure impact your performance and strength the next time you train?
Are we good? All right. Okay.
Understand.
Do you want to ask that again?
So next question is, will training to failure impact your performance and strength the next time you train? Positively or negatively?
Well,
depends when you...
So what are we trying to do? We're trying to grow muscle tissue, right? We're trying to give ourselves a much stimulus as we possibly can. Now, if it is impacting your performance next time you train, I would look at more so the volume and the frequency that you're training. So if you are training with a ton of volume and very high frequencies and you're not getting stronger, or if you're going backwards, then you probably need to pull that back.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to be stimulating the muscle, so we want to train as close to failure as we possibly can. And then next time you should be stronger. You should be able to get, go close to failure and have another rep or another couple of kilos on the bar. So that's what we're aiming for. If you're not, I wouldn't look at pulling back your intensity. I would look at either pulling back your volume or frequency, or increasing your rest and recovery or food or whatever it might be as well.
Yeah, because if you're training legs every 2 days and you're training to failure, you're not going to be recovering.
Probably not.
You're going backwards. I know, because I've tried. I train legs once every 5 to 7 days, and
it's a sweet spot and everybody's a little bit different as far as that goes. Some people might find they need a whole week. Some people might find they could do it in 3 or 4 days,
That's my sweet spot.
But I mean, think about this. If you're not training to failure, I better not train to failure because it might wreck my strength for next time. What are you getting out of that?
No idea. It might be a powerlifting program they're doing or something.
Oh, if you're training for strength, there's a whole different concept. We're talking about muscle. That's it.
Okay, thoughts on, I don't even know what this is. Thoughts on semaglutide.
Okay, semaglutide, Ozempic. Have you heard of Ozempic?
Oh.
This is the weight loss drug. So it's a GLP-1 agonist. So that's a glucagon-like peptide.
What does it actually do?
So what that does is that it stimulates your pancreas to help produce more insulin, to lower your blood sugar levels, and prevent more glucagon coming from your liver as well. And then it also slows gastric emptying. So it slows down your digestive rate. So really, it kills people's appetite, basically. So people are using it to absolutely annihilate their appetite. But my concern is this. My concern is some of those issues that potentially revolve around that slower gastric emptying and maybe long-term digestive issues, as well as is somebody, if they're really killing their appetite and they may be eating a very small amount, what are they eating? Are they just eating small amounts of shit, right? And then are they getting enough nutrients? So I think about a person's overall health. I wouldn't say that it's, some people might need it. you know, and you know, that really need to lose some weight, and it could be a catalyst for that. But I wouldn't rely on it as a crutch, and then be very careful when coming off of it that you don't rebound when the appetite comes back and just balloon back out. So in some cases, it could be all right.
And I guess that's really up to the person's GP to guide them, because that's where you get it from. How do you monitor LVH from PED usage?
Okay, LVH, that's left ventricular hypertrophy. So that's the enlarged heart that people get from steroid use. They also can get that a little bit from training. So the combined efforts of training and anabolic use is going to potentially cause a little bit of left ventricular hypertrophy. How you monitor that would be an echocardiogram. So that's like an ultrasound for your heart. So you watch that, and you can see they measure the thickness of the walls of your heart. Now, if those are starting to get thick, you better pull things back a little bit. And there are things that you can take to help relieve that a little bit, and blood pressure medications, things like that too. You know, so if you've got potentially left ventricular hypertrophy and high blood pressure and high hematocrit levels, you know, thick blood, you're going to do a lot of damage to your heart and cut your lifespan by a dramatic amount. So I would highly recommend getting these things checked. I've got one scheduled for February, another echocardiogram. Just keep an eye on everything and make sure that things are staying in great range. And I started to have some LVH just from years of training and whatnot. And I've actually seen a slight decrease in that over the last few years based on some therapies that I'm doing and whatnot.
Oh, so the walls can get thinner, you saying?
They can.
Oh,
they
wow,
can.
that's good to know. Starting to panic there a little bit. Okay, random question. What's your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
Look, he's controversial.
Never thought I'd hear this on our podcast.
Yeah, he's controversial. You know, he's entertaining. I think he's, you know, he's kind of fun to watch, but you know, take it with a grain of salt. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I used to be really into him when he came out. I thought, oh yeah, it's cool, speaks his mind. I've got no opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion's almost irrelevant on him. I just stay in my own bubble and do my own thing. But if you like him, good on you. If you don't, who cares? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's I don't really have thoughts, but I admire that he's got himself out there so much and he's made a name for himself, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't know what to say about that. Okay, what's your best exercise for cardio? I know my favorite. There's two. But you know what I'm going to say. But what's do you even do much cardio? You just walk around, right? You just do walking?
Well, look,
Yeah.
My favorite cardio lately is going for a bike ride with my boy. Like he wants to go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, you know, it's good exercise as well. So I enjoy that. So the best cardio is what you enjoy. There's not one type that's going to be better than others. If you're going to do, you know, high intensity cardio and that kind of thing, I probably would do that when food's a little bit higher so you can recover from it. But for fat loss, I would probably keep your intensity a little bit lower and just, you know, whether it be tracking your steps or doing designated cardio times, it doesn't really matter.
With my cardio, okay, this is what works for me. So I know a lot of people are glued to their phones. So even sometimes I'm sitting there just scrolling through it. Well, if you're going to scroll through it, I thought to myself, why don't I just do that while I'm just slowly moving a bit? So I'll do it on the treadmill or the stepper. And that's how I kind of do two things at once. So I'm just slowly burning a bit of fat. And I got into a habit of doing that quite frequently. So I managed to stay so lean. So next time you're sitting on your phone and you're just watching our reels and going through all Scotty's content going, okay, I'm learning, just do that on the treadmill with your AirPods on.
Yeah.
And I find that works for me. So that's just what I've
And
been doing.
for me, I find you know, being outside in nature with sun on your face and things like that, getting outdoors, that would be more enjoyable for me. So again, either both work.
Yeah, my missus goes to the beach all the time. She went to the beach last night with her dog. And I wasn't there. I was out for dinner. Okay, next one. 4-day split for someone who's time poor, works, and has kids.
Yeah. And the way I would do 4 days a week is plenty to train. Absolutely. Yeah. And the way I would look at that is, do you have any body parts you want to bring up? And then you potentially prioritize those and pull back on the others. Well, on the other hand, another real easy one is upper, lower, upper, lower. So, you know, you could do upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, rest. There's your 4 days. Done.
So day on, day off, day on.
That's an option
day
too.
On, day off. You could just do
Or
that,
2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 2 days off. You know.
But I seriously think you could train so hard in those 4 sessions for 45 minutes, you probably get amazing results.
100%. It's not going to hold you back one bit.
No, 4 days is, that's what I did in Japan and Korea. Probably trained 4 days a week, even 3 days, kept everything, went pretty hard.
There was a time that I got a little burnout on training. I was doing a lot of one-on-one clients in a studio, right? Even like 10 plus a day. And I was just like, I didn't
10
want
clients?
10 clients a day. I didn't feel like being there any more than I wanted. You know, and a lot of trainers do this. I just didn't want to train. So I trained 2 days a week. I did chest and back on one day, and you know, indirectly my delts and arms and everything got work. And the other day I did legs, right? Just did train on Tuesday and Friday, and that was it.
Didn't lose any size?
And I did not lose a damn thing. I even made measurements to track it and whatnot, measure my arms because I wasn't training them directly. Didn't lose a thing.
More is not better. Very interesting. So yes, I know I put that question in too. He's a good guy. All right, struggling to grow my quad sweep.
Yep.
Any tips?
So, you know, your genetics are going to determine a lot of how your quads are shaped. Your 4 quad muscles. And look, you can stimulate the sweep a little bit by changing the angles of your feet and whatnot and working that a little bit, right? But you could potentially cause more knee injuries if you're tweaking things a little bit too much. You know what I would do instead? I would work your adductors. So I would focus on the inner thigh, those muscles. So by doing the adductor machine, doing wide stance movements. Now, I know that's the opposite of what you're thinking, right? But if you feel the gap between your legs, you grow those adductors. And let's say you're on stage, you can stand a little bit wider stance, point your toes out slightly, push out against your sides of your feet, and your legs are going to look dramatically wider from the front, and your sweep's going to look bigger because you're standing wider apart. So it's all about illusion. So that's probably what I would do. And you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck in growing muscle tissue in working those adductors than you are trying to isolate just that sweep a little bit more. That'd be my opinion on that.
My opinion is that's good advice. But my quads are I got some damn good quads. And I know why they're good. I reckon it's my feet placement. I'm telling you. Because you know, in the hack, when I do hacks, I don't go so wide. I keep my knees relatively straight.
But if you look at how your feet placement is, it's natural, right? The way your hips are lined up over your knees, over your toes, and it's a medium stance, it's natural, and it works for you. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not doing anything unnatural that's, you know, tweaking anything, you know, and potentially causing knee issues. So that works for you, and I'm happy about that.
But I purposely put them close. I can put them wider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is still a natural.
But it works for me.
It's a still natural stance for you.
Understand.
And that's what I would say is go with as much of a natural stance as you can, so you're not causing potential knee issues, because you can't really change the shape too much of your medialis, lateralis, and whatnot, because the origins and insertions are all at the similar points.
You can really damage your knees too if you hit the angles up wrong.
That's exactly, yeah.
True. Awesome. All right, here's a good one. TRT dose on cruise.
Yeah. So somebody's asking, how much should I take for TRT on a cruise? Okay. And
Two different things, aren't they?
No. So people think about I guess a cruise, we think about blasting and cruising.
Yeah.
The cruising should be TRT, you know, which is basically replacement levels.
Okay. I thought a cruise was always a bit more.
Well,
I got guys cruising on 500.
That is not a cruise. Well, that's not. Well, look, it could be a cruise, but it's definitely not TRT.
Yes.
Like TRT is going to replace what you normally would produce. So TRT is going to be in your natural ranges. So whatever you take that's going to leave you in those natural ranges, and the upper end of those ranges is about 30, like your test level is about 30. So like, let's say you might take anywhere from 100 megs to 200 megs a week, right? And that's going to leave you somewhere in that range. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. So you get blood work done and see, okay, are you in that range? Preferably maybe on the higher end of that range, but that's going to be replacement therapy amount. So get your blood work done to see where it puts you, and there's your TRT amount, like in replacement therapy levels, not super physiological levels, not 500 mgs. That's not TRT.
I agree. That's what people are doing. That's what I hear. Okay, this is the last question. What does it feel like when you're in contest shape
And how bad is it?
Okay, being in contest shape is amazing. It feels good to be in that kind of shape, but getting there is the tough part, right?
Getting this hard, yeah.
Those last few weeks, it's a struggle because your food is super low, your energy's low, your output's high, you're probably struggling to sleep, so it's a real struggle to get there. But, you look at guys, bodybuilders after the show, right? They have a meal, the eyes light up, they feel amazing. They got tons of energy. So being that lean, everything's popping, veins are coming out, doesn't hurt. It's not painful, uncomfortable. It's getting there. That's a hard part. So
yeah, you're always pretty lean.
what I do is, pretty sustainable.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to be contest lean, I'm probably 8 weeks, even at my kind of leanest hanging around weight, I'm still probably 8 to 10 weeks of going harder, deeper into that phase. And the last probably 6 weeks, I'd be struggling in so many ways. So
you reckon you're 16 weeks, 18 weeks
8
out
to
from
10
here?
weeks. Yeah.
From here?
Oh, at least. Yeah.
You showed me your abs yesterday.
Yeah. But okay, so for example, I carry a lot of fat in my back, right?
Yes.
So I could be ready for my front, maybe,
Yes.
where I still need to go another 6 weeks to get my back lean to where if I hit a rear double bicep, everything's popping.
Got
so
it.
I would have to keep going
Got it.
until the
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
part is lean
your
enough.
abs, that's just genetics for you, right? You don't have any fat on your stomach.
I do, but they're
Well,
not.
whenever I see it, you show me
So
the
my
best angle.
abs are probably about 4 or 5 weeks out, right?
Yes.
And my back is probably 12 weeks out.
Okay, yeah. So I think we got to see Scotty get into contest shape one more time.
It's not fun.
You got to show the
It's
people.
much easier said than done, and without a
Yeah.
reason to do it. Like I'm not going to get on stage again, right?
Can you get 4 weeks out? Because your
Maybe.
4 weeks out's like very stupid.
Yeah,
stupidly.
maybe.
Maybe you should show everyone the progress on your IG of the suffering.
All right.
I'm happy to do it. I'll do it with you.
I know.
I just want to do it.
I want to be happy around my kids though.
I don't have any kids. Just got a couple of fish. All right, awesome. And now next question, Scotty, as well. What does it feel like? Oh wait, that's it.
That's
I
it.
just asked that question. Yeah, exactly. But you had a question for me.
Yeah, I see you've got a new
About this.
singlet on.
Now, I don't usually wear singlets in the potties, but damn, does this singlet look good? Because
That's awesome.
these ones I did in a blue, but they sold out. And what happened with Neverhome was I was getting this amazing momentum, but we came into some legal issues because I stuffed up some designs on some shorts. And then I got in a lot of trouble, but I overcame it. Cost me a little bit of money, but you got to push through. And that's my mindset. I keep pushing through because actually, you know what? I'll talk about this. One of my friends passed away recently and that woke me up. So rest in peace, BORIS MILAT from AAA. You've inspired me through everything you've done through your life. This is off the cuff, but one of my best mentors, one of my closest friends, absolutely heartbroken that you're gone. My condolences to everyone's friends of Boris's, especially his family. And we miss you, bro. But knowing that you'd gone pushed me to just freaking do things because it can just go, life. And that, I'm going to tear up, but that inspired me to keep doing my stuff with my brand. So
He'd be proud of you, brother.
I want to make him proud. So these are the new singlets and some shorts coming in. And yeah. So I'm just, you got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. All right. I didn't think that was going to come out then. But keep pushing through. So yeah, new stock's coming out. And if you get anxiety through shit with life, like I get anxiety sometimes, think of the bigger picture and just, what I say to myself is, and this is the best advice, because I said it to my missus yesterday, when you're going through a hard time, Kyle or Scotty, you gotta talk to yourself as if you are the big brother of yourself. So I got a big brother. What would I say to myself right now in this moment? I'd be like, Johnny, push through. Life's good. Whatever the issues are, you're gonna worry about it in a year, 18 months, 5 years. Tomorrow, I'll probably forget what the problem is tomorrow, but look at the bigger picture and just keep pushing through. There's a light at the end of the tunnel at all times.
So I'll end it with that. Is that okay?
That's great mental health advice, 100%. I,
so
was going to
too.
actually ask you, what would be a mental health tip? That's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. So thanks again. The content's from you guys. Scotty, you're a world of knowledge. Kyle, I'm going to give you a shout out here. All right. Pivotal Conversations. Use their studio. They've been great to us. You just book it in. You rock up. Kyle's here. He offers you drinks. It's really good. It's really friendly. And it's so convenient. You get your podcasts in 24 hours, maybe sometimes 25 hours if he's busy. But I'll leave you with that, and we'll see you on the next one. Scotty, you want to finish with anything?
That's it. Happy.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.
to go for you